Good morning, everybody. Anchor Your Week, number 11. Today is Monday, March the 29th, and we are going to finish the topic or the video that we started last week, dealing with mindset. And if you've been tuning along and tagging along with our Anchor Your Week meetings, you've noticed the first 2 weeks we spent on building a foundation of our mind, because we can be successful or we could be unsuccessful, and it all starts in our mind. And so we want to focus and make sure that we revisit that we remind ourselves that we are capable of doing hard things, that we're capable of being successful in our field, and that people will love us, they will trust us, and they will use us for their real estate transactions. And so last week we learned about the story. Are you telling a positive story or are you telling a negative story? The story that you're telling yourself is really what you're believing. So we covered that in the very beginning. Limiting beliefs. Are you limiting yourself by what you believe, or are you unrestricted in your belief system? Limiting means limited. Unrestricted means there's no boundaries. There's nothing that's telling you that you can't be successful, that you can't do hard things, and that you can't have a bunch of clients and do very well in real estate. And so we're going to talk about the core story. We're going to learn about the core story as we finish this video today. And then we're going to roll out something else to Anchor. And I'm excited about this. It's our listing services menu. So this is going to help our agents go in, capture or I should say dominate the listing appointment. And then when it comes to the number one objection with listing appointments, which is the commission, you're going to be able to roll this out, and the seller is going to be able to choose which commission they decide. And from there, the commission conversation just ends because they choose. So we'll roll that out after the video. So let's tune in. I've already got it fast forward to where we need to start at. We may miss a few seconds, but let me go ahead and share our screen and we'll get this started.
See, the thing about core stories are this. In every moment of your life, you are operating from one of two core stories. And these core stories are literally the source of every thought, feeling, action, attitude, result. Everything in your life comes from these two places. There is no other source. The first one is what we call a green light core story. Now, a green light core story is one that is based in love. See, a green light core story is one where you are acknowledging your own worth, one where you know you are capable, one where you place your sense of self-worth, not in what you do, but in who you are. You are worthy because you exist. You accept yourself. See, acceptance is so powerful because what do most of us spend most of our time doing? Wishing we were someone else. Comparing ourselves to others, making ourselves feel worse about ourselves. Look, I have a life-changing realization for you. You didn't create yourself. You were created. And with that level of understanding, you must recognize it is not your job to judge the creation. See, for me, I'm a person of faith. I know I was created by God in his image. And when I woke up to this fact, I realized that every second I spent wishing I was someone else was a slap in my creator's face. And here's what I know personally as a person of faith: God don't create junk. And listen, regardless of what your beliefs are, you have to understand you were created. You were created for the world. It's not your job to judge the creation. It's your job to accept it, to marvel at the miracle of its existence. This is the only place you will ever create what you actually want in your life. See, a green light core story gives you something very powerful. You take responsibility and ownership for your life. And I'm telling you, this is the only place you will ever create what you truly want. But the problem is most of us spend more time in the other story. And that's what we call a red light core story. Red light core stories are based in fear. They're based in scarcity as well. See, scarcity literally becomes the default setting for our life. It's the belief that there'll never be enough. There's not enough money. There's not enough time. There's not enough opportunity. When you're operating from a red light core story, you always have the limiting belief that time and effort are how you become successful. It's not. Success is working smarter, not harder. But scarcity will always lead you to believe otherwise. See, when you're living from a story of fear and scarcity, you're never going to be enough. And look, we all have these stories of not being enough. And scarcity and fear, what it does is it leads us to always be in a hurry to get there, right? We're always impatient. We always feel like an imposter, no matter how successful we become. Red light core stories, we place our value in what we do. We assign our sense of self-worth to the amount of followers we have on Instagram, the amount of views we got on our reels, the amount of money we make, the size of our team. Look, that's a formula that will always fail you. You cannot assign your sense of self-worth to anything outside of you that you have no control over. Red light core stories will always lead you to compare yourself to others, and you'll always fall into the victim and the blame mentality. And listen, at the end of the day, these are the only two options for you in your life. See, here's what I'm inviting you to do today with this new level of awareness, is to take a journey back to love. See, this is the single most important thing, because when you show love to yourself, you ignite a new belief of what could be. When you rewrite your core story, it literally becomes the lead domino that can topple over all your other red light stories. And just like Lisa, when she changed her core story, you will be absolutely astounded how quickly you can start seeing different and better results. So the question is, what if we don't do this though, Bob? What if we don't change our core story? What if we stay living in the red light core story? Can we become successful? The answer is you can become successful. You can create success from scarcity and fear in a red light core story. Here's the problem. All you will ever do is attract more of that to your life. See, there's a very dangerous trap that so many of you are in right now. We call it the achievement trap. The achievement trap is when you create success from scarcity and fear. And here's what you do. You set a big goal for your business. You work very hard. You're always impatient, rushing to get to the goal, because on some level, you believe the goal will actually make you feel better and be more worthy. So you sacrifice, be honest, you hate the journey. And eventually, some of you get there. But here's the problem. You get there only to realize you don't feel any different. See, the achievement trap, what happens is we believe that the goal or some level of income or money is what we're after. We're not actually after that. We're after how we think success will make us feel. We just want to feel better about ourselves. We want to feel whole. We want to feel good enough. We want to feel worthy. We want to feel love. We want to feel fulfillment. We want to feel joy. There's no amount of money or success in the world that will ever give you that. And here's the sad thing that I see. So many of our students come to us caught in the achievement trap, looking to get out of it. And here's what they say. I thought the big goal was going to make me feel better, and I got there and I actually felt worse. Because the thing is this, if you create success from scarcity and fear, all you'll do is attract more of that into your life. Here's how it shows up for you. You're going to work harder when you have success, because now you're going to feel like an imposter. You're going to beat yourself up because you don't feel better. And you're going to feel like you need to go prove yourself to the world every day. You're going to spend more time afraid of losing what you've created than appreciating it and using it as a foundation to go to the next level of your life. And you will always feel exhausted, overwhelmed, and resentful because you're never actually going to get what you want. See, here's the secret. The feelings that we want, worthiness, being enough, love, they're nothing from outside of us will give it to us. It's a gift we have to give us on the inside. And the only way we get it is changing our core story. Let me share with you in closing a really powerful analogy that perfectly illustrates what I'm teaching you. So imagine for a moment that the number 6 represents your core red light story. And you've been staring down at this number 6 on the ground your entire life. Right? Maybe your parents had high expectations for you when you were a kid, which led you to become an achiever in an attempt to get their approval and love. And this led you to defining your sense of self-worth in what you do. And you've carried that with you your whole life. But here's the thing, this 6, this red light core story of you not being enough, of not being worthy unless you go out and do something special, it has literally shaped every aspect of your life. It has defined who you are. Every single thought, every feeling, every action is defined by 6. You wake up every day, you look in the mirror, all you see is 6. And here's the thing. you're absolutely certain it's a 6. I mean, Bob, how could it possibly be anything else? I've been looking at it my whole life, but here's the problem. 6s cause you to think small, to doubt yourself, to limit yourself. It's held you back in business, your relationships. It's kept you from even really trying. But what other choice do I have, Bob? I'm just a 6. It's the way that it is. See, what I'm asking you to consider is maybe it doesn't have to be that way. What if you woke up one day and realized everything you always thought you knew about yourself was a lie, a story you made up? See, here's the gift that the formula gives us. It gives us the ability to see another perspective in our life. What I'm inviting you to do in this moment is this: step to the side of the 6 for a moment, recognizing it's only a story. And like any story, there's always 2 different points of view, and realizing, what if that 6 was actually always a 9? See, the 9 is the green light core story that's always been there, right? Inside of you, waiting to get out into the world, but you've never allowed it because you've been stuck in the 6. See, here's what's so powerful. There are other people in the world that are living in the exact same circumstances as you, that went through the same challenges and problems, that aren't using that as an excuse as to why they're not successful. Somehow they've managed to create the business and the life of their dreams. And the only difference is they chose to see 9 instead of 6. They believe they are a 9.
So, and that was wrapping up on that segment. And again, you can always go back and watch that. I'd be happy to share the link with you. It is time sensitive, so you can only have 20 minutes for free. But just incredible insight. And I mean, again, even though I've gone through extensive, mental training and programs that I've paid a lot of money for, as I'm sitting here, there are some 6s in my life that I need to view as a 9. And so I just really want to encourage you this morning as we wrap that up, to go out and to believe and to love yourself. And that was huge, that we are judging the creator, the creation. And when we judge ourselves, and when we say we're not good enough, when we say, whatever fill in the blank negative that you're speaking over yourself, you're really casting judgment against creation, which goes back to the creator. And you can't do that. You can't do that. You were created for a purpose. You were created for good things. And you've got to walk that out and stop believing the lies that someone told you, that you told yourself, or that you believe, and start walking in the truth. Change that 6 to a 9. All right, let's go ahead and roll out our listing services menu. So let me share the screen again. So a couple of our agents had watched this video from a real estate coach. And he said, if you will roll out a listing services menu, watch what happens to your conversion when you're on listing appointments. And so, Tim and I sat down last week and we just wrote out some of the things that we did. Now, obviously, this is a non-comprehensive list. You may be able to add something that you're going to do that Tim and I didn't think of. And this is a template on Canva, so you can completely edit it to whatever you want to do. As you can see, we have silver 5%, gold 6%, and platinum 7%. Now, you may get that feeling in your stomach, you're like, oh, 5 seems like really high for very minimum. And 7, I've never even heard of an agent getting 7% commission. And so wherever you're at, you do it. But we are allowing the consumer to choose. And I want you to think of it this way. When you go to McDonald's, you obviously have a choice. You have a choice of small, medium, or supersize. And they kind of done away with supersize, but I like to say supersize. Supersize me, right? So there are some people that are always going to go to McDonald's and get a supersize. They just want it. They like, I need it. That's what I always get. And so those might be the people that choose platinum. And then you've got somebody that's, all right, well, I'll just do a medium. I don't want the extra food. I don't want to feel terrible after. I mean, obviously we're talking about McDonald's here, but so stick with me for for the demonstration purposes. But 6%, it's like, okay, it's middle of the road. It's what it comes with. And 5%, I'm gonna order off the dollar menu. But either way, the consumer is choosing the commission. I'm telling you, one of the biggest obstacles that I faced, and I still face even to this day, is the seller asking me, what is the commission? How much do I pay? And there are some times when I just go ahead and throw it out there depending on the situation. Sometimes I have to explain why I'm asking for this much money. So I'm excited to be able to roll this out into my personal business, because I'm telling you, when I get my first platinum listing commission signed, it is on like Donkey Kong, because there are very few brokerages around here that are even getting 7%. You'll see this a lot in the North Georgia mountains, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, Hiawassee. There's some agents up there that offer 7%, but they end up sharing it. So it's 3.5, 3.5. I've gotten that one time in my career. And so, but once we get it here, that means I'm getting 4% commission, and I'm still able to give the selling agent 3% commission. Now, have I done this yet? No, I don't know how it's going to work, but I do know that if they don't choose a 7, I'm at least going to get 5 or 6%, right? And so if they don't choose the supersize menu, you're still getting a sale at McDonald's. And that's the way it's going to translate with us. Now, I will tell you, I had my very first call on Saturday from an agent that said, Cody, one of my buyers wants me to cut the commission in half. He wants me to give them a rebate of 50% of my commission. And I've read about it, I've heard about it, I've never experienced it. And so we came to a crossroad. We're walking through something in real estate that I've never been a part of. Most of you have never been a part of. And we're navigating it as we go. And so, commission, money, it's always a pain point for sellers, and apparently now for buyers when someone wants a 50% rebate on on the most extensive work that anyone can do, which is representing a buyer in this market. And so we rolled this out to be able to compete. And there are other top brokerages in the state of Georgia, Real Estate Expert Advisors, Tracy Cousineau. There's a couple of others that are actually using a menu to go in and win the appointments. And so as you can see, silver 5%, that's going to be both MLS. So that's standard, right? We already do that. We've already got to put it in both MLS. Syndication to public sites. All that means is that it feeds out to Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com, Realtor.com. We already do that. The MLS does it for us. A standard sign in the yard. We already have a sign, right? The electronic lockbox. That may be an issue for you if you don't have your first one. They're $95 and they last a lifetime. They run out of battery, you go get a new one. Showing time app. It's free. We already have that. Basic social media posts. Guess what? You're going to do a social media post when you have a new listing, correct? And professional photography. And that's 20 photos maximum. That's just to really show the difference of value between silver and gold. Now, if you got 5% for that, would you be content with that? I mean, that's stuff that I do for 1% currently if someone that's buying or selling with me, buying and selling with me. So that's saying I would get an additional percent for stuff that I already do. Again, you can add or take away however you want to do it. Gold, 6%. All of silver included. So now they're going to go back over and like, wait, I get all of that? Okay. Drone photography. Ooh, I really want a picture. I want to see what my roof looks like. Let's get the drone. Targeted social media campaign. That's $250 budget ad spend. And so you would create a campaign. You would start targeting for buyers. Open house prior to listing on MLS. I've seen this a lot here recently. This is a strategy for us to be able to pick up more buyers before all of the agents rush in. Flyers presented at listing for potential buyers. So that's just, you've probably seen those on the countertops where it's just, hey, here's a listing description, and increased photos, 35 photos maximum. That's 6%. Now, the only cost that we have accrued there is the $250 budget, which we need to do on social media. The drone photography, that's about 125. Open house is nothing. Flyers, that's paper and ink. And photos, you would just tell your photographer, I need 35 photos. So we really don't see an increased amount of spend from us. And then we get to platinum. So you get all gold and silver. You get a deluxe listing brochure. It's 8 to 10 pages. We're going to roll that out either through Canva. We're working on a template for that, and then we can print those straight from Canva, or we can go to 400 ink. A professional wordsmith listing description. So this is where we actually bring in a writer to write the description. Now, obviously, there are probably not going to be a lot of sellers that choose platinum under the $500,000 price point. But if you have somebody that says, and they're under $500,000 and they choose a 7, you're still going to hire the wordsmith. Walk through video with music. So now we have a digital or a virtual tour, extensive social media campaign, $1,000 budget, Matterport 3D photography, which we're still looking for a photographer that has that, and then a deluxe luxury sign. Now, when you look at this and we see, okay, well, Cody, I hear a lot of money being spent in platinum, and I hear some money being spent in gold, no money being spent in silver. Here's what I want you to think of. And this was the revelation that I had when Tim and I were talking about this. If you will look at this list as a checklist for items for you to do as a listing agent, one, you are actually having the seller pay to make you better and to bring you leads. What do you think is going, and to market your business? What do you think is going to happen when you spend $250 of a targeted social media campaign on Facebook? What do you think is going to happen when you're sharing that listing, when you're creating a couple of campaigns that are consistently running and people on Facebook see, oh, Audrey Carmichael, look at her new listing. Oh, look at Deb Hancock's listing. Oh, look at Kimberly Craig's listing, right? All of a sudden they're going to start seeing, look at Stephanie Furness's listing. They're going to start seeing your name. And now they're going to start associating and realizing that you are, look at what they do. There are a lot of agents that do campaigns, but look at how they put it together. The open houses. How many buyers are unrepresented right now? How many buyers are walking around having no clue about what the market is or where to start or anything like that? So that's potential for that open house. Doesn't cost you any money. So everything that's on this list will make your business better. And as I was looking through this, I'm like, I really don't do a lot of this. I've never done a listing brochure ever. I do the walkthrough video. I like that. I've never spent $1,000 on a normal house. Most of the time we don't have to. And a Matterport, I've never done Matterport. I've never done 3D photography. And deluxe luxury sign, if I get around to putting in a deluxe sign. So the way that I'm looking at this, yes, it seems like a lot. We want it to seem like a lot to the seller. But if we keep this in the back of our mind that this is one of those positive stories, that this will make us better. And if we're not already doing it, we need to start doing it, because we desire to take over the market from all of these agents that have no idea what they're doing, that shouldn't be listing houses, that shouldn't be helping clients, that shouldn't be cooperating with other agents. They have no idea what they're doing. So this is going to give you the heads up when you're in those listing appointments, when you're bringing them of something of value. They're choosing what the commission is, and then they're telling you how they want you to perform. Because now listen, they said, well, I really want I want drone photography. I said, well, okay, well, if you want drone photography, well, let's look at 6%. Let's look at extra, what you can get for an extra percent. And now we can upsell them, right? So it's kind of like what McDonald's, going back to the illustration. If you supersize, you get a free apple pie. You're like, oh man, I really don't want an apple pie, but I'm getting something free. So, okay, I'm going to supersize me. Let's go. And also think about when they had Monopoly game pieces, you had extra game pieces on the French fry container. So it's all a strategy. It's all marketing. That's all it is. So this is going to help you market yourself. It's going to give you confidence. It's going to give you a game plan of what to do and how to do it. And the sellers are going to leave content because you have clear boundaries. Mr. Seller, this is what you're getting for 5%. Now, for 1% more, I could get you all of this. But if you're happy with 5, this is what we'll do. And these are my list of services that I'll perform for you. Now, you may go above and beyond, and you may throw in some extra photos because your photographer's there anyway. And so that goes back to that saying, under promise and over deliver. Right. So you may throw in a drone photography because the photographer needs to get a drone because it's on a slope. Well, you're not going to charge them 6% just for drone photography. What you're going to do is you're going to say, Mr. Seller, my photographer got out there and he saw that he really couldn't get a good front shot of your house. So he ended up pulling the drone out. I did pay for that, but I'm not going to charge you for that. I desire to sell your house. I'm here to partner with you and I'm willing to do what it takes to get it sold. What did I just do? I just built so much rapport and trust and love and respect that the seller just feels the love and the way that we're treating that client. So we're going to have our wordsmith look over this, change anything that we need. But again, we're going to roll this out to all stars. So you'll be able to have this. You'll be able to include it in your listing appointment and give them the choice. And I'm excited to hear the feedback. I'm actually going on an appointment today. So I'm going to take this with me and see which one the sellers are going to choose. Because again, they're the ones that are paying us. So they should be able to choose what they're paying us. So thank you for tuning in this morning. We're going to go ahead and end today's meeting, and we will see you next week. We are going to change our time from Monday at 8 a.m. to Monday at 9 a.m. So we will see you next week. You have a wonderful week.